Hi there, yeah, welcome back to Time Tunnel TV. My name's Graham Ulsterholme, and on the show today we have the one and only Ruth Sims. Hello, and how are you, Ruth?
Hi, Nathan and Daniel, it's me, Gren. Sorry, they're my grandsons back home.
So Ruth,
You can call me Gren.
Right, okay. So, Gran, it's been a while since you've actually been on the show. If I'm rightly remember, you were working in a prison with young boys?
I actually, I've retired now.
Oh.
But I do miss my boys.
I bet that was very emotional for you, wasn't it, when you worked there for 24 years?
25, actually, and I blubbered like a baby.
Oh, it only seemed like yesterday when you were filmed in a documentary about a juvenile centre.
Oh my gosh, I haven't watched that for years.
Oh, well, actually, we have the documentary right here. So, would you like to have a look at it? Goosey-goosey,
Oh,
that's it?
yes, I would.
We'll do that then. OK, we'll be back soon with more questions for Gran, but first let's go way, way back with Gran when she was in Sydney's juvenile prison.
Facility for boys 10 to 18 years of age. The boys are serving time for different offences. These are the bad boys, the worst boys in the state.
We have 60 to 80 boys detained here at any one time, and security is pretty tight because, look, a lot of these boys are considered a genuine threat to society.
In a jail, any jail, there's a food chain, the hierarchy. At the bottom is our inmates. That's off, boys. And at the top, there has to be us, the staff. But at the top of our food chain, it's Gran.
Sweet dreams.
Gran's been here for more than 25 years. She genuinely knows the place better than any of us here.
Break it up!
Gran is a real asset to this place. I feel so lucky to have her here. I really don't know what we'd do without her.
Crack a smile, why don't you? Aye? My job description on paper is to be an officer. Put your weight on your front foot so you'll come in. But I find that I'm also a sports coach. I'm a chef. With you. Careful with knives, please, guys. I'm a games coordinator. You'll go, Imran. I'm a psychiatrist. I find myself counselling the boys 24/7. You've been a bit of a mental case lately, you've got to admit. I become a kind of surrogate family for a lot of these boys. Hip, hip, hooray! You become mum, you become grandma. You're the one they turn to. High five. Whoops, too slow. Sit in your spot there, please. Well, if a real ratbag kid comes in, a real psychopathic style kid with all the anger issues in the world, they usually send him straight to Gran, and I'll sort him out. He's keen, he's popped out. I'm Gran, I'm here to look after you. Do you know where you are? You're in prison. Get off him! There's times when you shit yourself. Dog! I'm not fucking tired! Get down, you fucking idiot! Fights, often we have to sort of deal with altercations with the boys where I need to sort of restrain them, get them down on the ground, and you shit yourself.
She's got a lot more experience than we do. She is a mother figure for these boys.
We're not going unless you give us a joke.
No jokes, I'm not in the mood for fun.
Then we're not leaving.
All right. One joke. How many juvenile offenders does it take to finish a crossword?
I don't know.
10. One to get his mum to do it because he can't spell, and the other 9 to beat the shit out of you. All right, all you fuckwits out.
Gran, she can be an old cow. Yeah, she's like kind of strict, like puts you in your place when you need to be put in your place.
When I'm tough with the boys, I find that you earn their respect. Jesus, the bloody goal's as big as my ass. Get it in. You make an impact on them. And we're talking about real bad boys here, bad cookies. That I feel like I know how to treat bad boys. You can put in 150% effort. You can love your job. You can go above and beyond. But there comes a time when your best efforts are not good enough. And that's when you just got to pull up your socks, wipe your tears and move on. Let someone else have a go. Nothing lasts forever.
Indeed. What a role model you were to all those boys.
Thanks. I just, I tried to make their experience
Have we got a
as
tissue,
nice
anyone?
as
Tissue. I've got a tissue. Floor manager tissue. Thank you very much. Thank you. There you go. Are you okay? Yeah, you've got a tissue there. Look, smashing. Do you feel better?
It's so kind of you to say.
Well, so we've got some emails and letters that we've been sent in, so let's carry on with the show with a segment I like to call Get to Know Gran. Boom, 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 boom. All right, okay, we're going to get to know you. We've had an email in from a lady from Perth, believe it or not. I'm just going to get this out. She wants to know a little bit about your guinea pigs. Can you tell us a bit about those?
Oh, my babies. Yeah, it's I have 23 guinea pigs at home, and I do care for them. And I do believe that they're like my children. I do have children of my own, but they don't grow up. And I have a favourite. She's called Carrie Ann.
Oh, well, this is the guinea pig, is it?
Yeah, Carrie Ann. She's got the most beautiful hutch. And she's actually named after my favourite TV presenter on Good Morning Australia.
Oh, yeah.
Carrie Ann.
I wonder how you got that. Yeah, smashing. Yeah,
Yeah.
Carry on. So have you got 22 names for the other 22 then?
I have. If you was there with the hutches, I could go through one by one and tell you each name, and I'll never forget.
Right, so all those hutches, you haven't got a Starsky?
No.
It's over your head, that. Never mind. Right, I've got another question. Apparently, before you went to this juvenile prison, you were actually serving at Wentworth. A lot of the people in the UK know about Wentworth. B. Smith, you know, prisoner cell block H, you actually worked on that for a wee while before you went over to the juvenile, because you're 65 now, so your first 10 years were actually spent working at Wentworth. What's the difference between working in an all-female prison for open-age prisoners to the juvenile centre full of males? What are the differences? Are there any comparisons between Wentworth and the Sydney Juvenile
Well, one big
Detention Centre?
difference is one's female, one's male. There's a big difference there, I would say.
Did you feel, with you being a female officer in a female prison to begin with, there was a lot more competition where you were looked at more lovingly when you were in the male sort of dominated area? Because one, they were all juveniles and they looked at you as more of a mother figure. You weren't a threat, you were more somebody that they could go to with the problems. You know, they wanted to sort of, you know, cuddle them into your bosom and one thing or another. With women's prisons, you were more of a threat because you were more of a higher power than they were. You were overlooking them because they were prisoners and you were a prison officer. Whereas with the juvenile sort of setup, you were seen more of a guide rather than somebody that was there to punish them.
We could say that, but I find myself, I am tough. I am a tough cookie. So I'll say to them, do you know where you are? You're in prison.
Yeah.
They're not on holiday, they're in prison.
Yeah.
So you can't mess with Gran.
No.
I'm comforting, but I'm not nice.
Well, as we know, your name's Ruth. Who actually nicknamed you Gran? I mean, obviously, of the year, 40 years of age, you'd have appeared to have been a grandma to 18 and 19-year-olds.
Yeah.
And obviously that name stuck, so when new inmates come in, straight away, oh, who's that? Oh, that's Gran, straight away. Not Ruth. Is Ruth completely eradicated from their sort of speak towards you?
Well, the first time I was called Gran was when my grandchildren called me Gran.
Yeah.
It kind of stuck from there, and I suppose I'm just like a figure of a grandmother at the juvenile centre. There is Legs, who is my patrol officer.
Oh. What do they do? What does Legs do then? What's their sort of main role in this particular setup?
She is like me, but she's below on the food chain.
Ah, I see.
She keeps everyone together. She keeps things going and everything working. But
so she's like your assistant. You're
yeah,
sort
you
of
could
an
say
assistant
that.
manager. Your
Yes.
right-hand wing commander type of thing.
Yeah, I love Legs.
I mean, the thing is, you're like a celebrity now, aren't you, in Australia? I mean, we're just getting to grips with you here in the UK. We've actually got a lady who's a prison officer that's just won our musical thing called the X Factor. Now, she's trying to juggle celebrity with her job. Now, what advice would you give to somebody like that had just been thrown into the celebrity sphere? You've been in it for years now, so is there any advice you can say to someone that actually wants to keep the day job and also be a celebrity? Is there any sort of common ground you can...
Well, I think if you mix them together, that can work sometimes. I have a thing called Friday night song night.
Oh, you do?
That I did at the prison, and I'd like to share some songs with the boys on Fridays. You've got to celebrate, it's Friday.
Yeah.
And I mean, a part of me's always wanted to be a bit of a singer, so I mix them together, and I think it works all right. You know, the boys enjoy it, from what I've heard.
Yeah. So Friday night is karaoke night sort of thing?
It's not karaoke, it's song night.
It's sort of song night. But
It's
it will also,
professional.
I feel that that's probably to build the morale up, isn't it? They say singing's a very good escape mechanism to build up the endorphins, to bring pleasure and leisure into someone's life. Do you feel that
The thing
works?
is, though, they can't sing, so
But they think they can.
It's all. Well, I don't let them try really, because I know, you know, they can't get depressed in the prison, but they're in prison, so they can't have all the fun.
Do you actually have some like prizes for the best singer? Do you? I mean, I've noticed there's a thing called Grand Gotchas. Now, I don't know what that's all about. Is that anything to do with the singing, or is that something entirely away from the singing side of things?
I have a bit of a game, like you say, it's morale, isn't it? And I was just messing about one day, and it came around, and now I play a game called Grand Gotchas, and it's just a bit of fun between me and my boys, and.
What does it entail? What's part of the Grand Gotchas setup then?
I knew there was a boy there named Trent.
Right.
So
First
he's
name
in
Stoke.
prison.
Never mind.
He's in prison, and he's got another 4 years left.
And what was that for? What was he in for?
It doesn't matter
We're
about
not
that.
allowed to discuss
We'll go
that,
on to the
okay.
gotchas.
Okay, go on to the
And
gotchas. Sorry for
I come up to Trent and I say, "Hey, Trent, you've got an early release." And he starts celebrating, and everyone's celebrating with him. And I said, "Let's go and pack your bags." And then we got to the gate, and I said, "Trent, where's Mum?" So everyone's looking for Trent's mum, and then I said, "Just 1 second, Trent." I said, "Before you go, gotcha."
Oh my God.
And it's all a big joke, and it's actually really funny if you think about it.
So it's like, basically it's a practical joke.
Yeah, on
So
them.
what was Trent's reaction to this? You say he's going to get an early release. He's thinking, well, hey, I'm out there, get a couple of, tins of Foster's, whatever the case, shouldn't say Foster's beer, I should say. And he thinks he's out in the outside world, he can live his life again, free as a bird, and then you tell him, just before he thinks he's being released, ha-ha, it was a joke.
I mean, anyone else would take it as a joke, but Trent's a tiny bit of a little bitch. So he had a bit of a cry, but yeah, we have other ones. I said to an inmate once, who's one of my friends, it's called Mohammed. I love Mohammed, and I said, "Have you heard about the escape tunnel in Block E?" Thought there was an escape tunnel, wasn't.
So
Gotcha.
really, you're sort of playing on their inadequacies, really. You're playing on their, because they're obviously not the sharpest tools in the box, and so you're thinking, is that more for your gratification, more for your entertainment than theirs? Because, it sounds like it.
No, I mean, I love my boys, and I've always been a bit of a practical joker, so I'm not going to be boring, am I? Do you know, a bit of a...
I mean, there's a picture of you here on the screen just behind. Can you just have a look? Which particular inmate's this? Who's that one?
That's
Do we know?
Talib.
Is that Talib? Can you
Yeah.
tell us a little bit of the backstory to Talib then? As soon as he's up there, we might as well discover a bit more about him.
I got a bit... He's actually... he's passed away now.
Really?
There's a bit of a backstory behind it. He came to the prison on his own. He knew nobody, obviously. Not many people know people in prison. And I don't know if you know, but I'm getting Alzheimer's. I've
Right.
recently been diagnosed with Alzheimer's.
So you're in the very, very, very early throes of it then?
I don't know. You know,
You've
they
forgotten.
said, "You've got Alzheimer's." I said, "Bloody hell." Walked out. I didn't want to know more. I've got Alzheimer's. I've got Alzheimer's.
So you do
know
things
what I
and
mean?
you forget about it, and then you
Forget about it.
Yeah. So basically, you'll be on the Time Tunnel TV, and you'll go back into the prison, and you'll say, "Oh, what were you doing yesterday?" And you'll say, "You won't have any recollection of this."
I said, "No bloody clue."
So basically, I can say anything I want to, and you'll forget. Well, I wouldn't do that to you anyway, Graham. What happened to this chap? How did he pass on then?
He never made any friends really at the prison. So one day I gave bed sheets out, I gave pajamas out, and we dressed up,
Right.
and he hung himself.
With the pyjamas
Yeah.
and... Oh. Anyway, Graham, what we're going to do, we're going to come back to you very shortly, and we'll hear more
Yep.
tales of the Sydney Juvenile Prison very, very soon. And it is very, very interesting. And we will be back shortly for more questions. But here performing a cover she'd like to sing from the Juvenile Centre with Gran. It's the old Four Non-Blondes classic. Remember that from 1993? Well, here's Gran's take on What's Going On.
It's a late night lockdown tonight, guys. 10 o'clock lockdown, so I hope you've enjoyed yourselves. "25 years and my life is still trying to get up that great big hill of hope for a destination. I realised quickly when I knew I should that the world was made up of this brotherhood of men, if you know what that means. And I cry sometimes when I'm lying in bed, just to get it all out what's in my head, and I'm feeling a little peculiar. And I wake in the morning and I step outside and I take a deep breath and I get real high and I scream from the top of my lungs, what's going on? And I said, hey, yeah, 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 hey, yeah, yeah. I said, hey, what's going on? And I said, hey, yeah, 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 hey, yeah, yeah. I said, hey, what's going on? That's it, guys. That's the last song for tonight. I hope you've enjoyed yourselves. It's 10 o'clock.
Hey, that's amazing, everyone. A real talent, I must say. All the way from the Juvenile Centre. That, of course, is the wonderful Gran. So, Gran, what's it like to perform again?
You know, it was an absolute pleasure to perform again. It's been a while.
Been a while, yeah. Has anyone ever told you that you've got a voice of an angel?
Only myself.
Oh, crikey. Anyway, well, I'm sure you won't be saying that anymore. Hold on to your horses because we've got a short break coming up. But don't go anywhere because after this break, we'll be back with the one, the only Gran for more questions. So we'll be back in 2. Told a lie, we're not back in 2, we're back in 30 seconds, but never mind. If you've just joined us, we're talking to Ruth Sims, otherwise known as the wonderful Gran, retired prison officer from the penitentiary there in Sydney, or should I say the Young Offenders Home. Right, okay, where can I go now? Let's talk about the pyjamas incident where one of your inmates died. I mean, could that have been dealt with in a better manner, do you think? Did he show any signs of suicidal tendencies before he actually committed the
Well, when the boy came to the prison, he was so quiet and everyone bullied him and he was awful. And these 2 boys, I love them to bits, but they bully him. And they do this game and they say, hey, do you know Kylie? And if you say you know Kylie,
what, as in Minogue?
Yeah, that's a bit stereotypical because you're Australian, but yeah, whatever. If you say that you do know Kylie, then you're lower than them. You fell to their game. And they always ask him stuff like that. And the poor boy he's in prison for such a weird thing that I can't mention. Oh. But, I mean, I can't mention it really. It's
all right. Well, I'll tell you what, we'll move on from that subject 'cause it's a little bit touchy there. Well, just going back to the emails here, there's Danny from Bristol, believe it or not. He wants to know, what would you have done instead of being a prison officer if you'd had a choice? What other role in society would you have took?
I can't imagine not being a prison officer. I think, like I said before, and if you've just seen, I do like singing.
Yeah, well, we've gathered that, yeah.
I like covering songs. So I think I'd have probably done, I might try it for like the X Factor or something. Well, I would have done.
Well, also Danny goes on to say, you know, I like your voice as well. Now the thing is, couldn't you have got signed up by Mushroom Records, of course, the big record company in Australia there that signed up Kylie and Jason? Couldn't you have done something like that? Because, you know, when they came to prominence in the 80s, you'd have been about 40. You could have perhaps gone in for that. And there is an X Factor in Australia. Have you never thought about doing that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to be like Kylie and Denny, because if you think...
Well, obviously not.
Australian singers, you think Kylie and Denny and Jason.
Actually, I think of In Excess and Midnight Oil, actually. I think they're more hard edge than Kylie and Jason.
Well, I suppose, but I mean, everybody else, apart from you,
Yeah.
would think Kylie, Jason, Danny.
Minogue. Yeah, no.
And I
it's a
don't
bit-
want to be part of that. I want to be Gren.
Even
what
Paul
my-
Robinson, Stephen Dennis made a record. That's how bad things got over here back in the 80s. So, again, would you have preferred to have been maybe a singer? Do you think you could have had a career as a singer somewhere? Otherwise?
Honestly, no.
No.
I mean, I
course
do
not.
enjoy singing, and I know the boys love my voice, but I think I was born Gren, the prison officer.
Right, and you feel as though that's your role in society. Now, the thing is, a lot of these lads that come into the prison, have they always had really bad, mixed-up childhoods, maybe with no mother figure as such, no father figure? Do you take the role of both mother and father sometimes, even though they do call you Gran? Obviously,
Yeah.
that's down to your age and their age. But do you feel as though you're sort of fulfilling that role of mother and father?
I could be a bit of both, really. I mean, we've got a few male guards in the prison, but they never really interact. I mean, I've got a nice game we like to play, and I'm kind of a gran, a mum, a playmate, a dad. I'm everything really, and we like to dress up and play games.
I mean, the thing is, apart from the dressing up side of things, I mean, you do try to sort of get into their psyches and build them up. Have you had many repeat offenders? I mean, obviously from juvenile prison,
Yeah.
you go on to the main big prison.
We do, yeah.
Do you actually ever sort of prepare certain inmates for big prison?
Going on to bigger prison.
Because
we do, yeah.
when you think about it, you'd like to think you had a 100% success rate of sort of rehabilitating all these kids
Yeah.
that come to juvenile, you rehabilitate them, they go into society and they become lawyers, bank clerks, whatever. But the realistic sort of realism of that is that they don't, they go on to prison. So in your subconscious, are you thinking, well, for instance,
Better prepare them.
Greg's not going to do very well. He's going to go out of this
Yeah.
juvenile prison. He's going to commit a crime. He'll be in big prison next time. So, in a way, do you feel as though you're sort of nurturing and thinking, right, well, I'm going to prepare him for the big prison? Because you've got an idea, haven't you, if someone's going to repeat offend and some people. And what's the success rate of people going out and not reoffending? Have you got any ideas what the success rate is there?
Well, like the first question you just mentioned, you
Yeah.
say you've got to get people ready. So I'll sit down with them in their cell, and if they have, I'll say, hey, listen, you've been a bit of a mental case lately. And they'll be like, Gran, and I'll say, no, shut up. You've been mental. And they can't be mental if they're going to a bigger prison. They're going to get picked on, and
Yeah.
they'll crumble. But then the success rates, I mean, we don't really look at it like that. We look at it how we look at it is, are they in prison? Yes. Are they going to leave prison? Yes, maybe. Are they going to do well after prison? Yes. Still a maybe, but hopefully yes. You know?
Yeah, we've got another question from a John in Stockport. He's asking, have you ever been attacked by any of your...
All the time.
I
with
mean
all
properly, I don't mean as
yeah.
a play fight, and I mean, has anyone actually
Yeah.
lost the temper with you and really
Yeah,
put your
little
life in?
buggers they are. I mean, Mohammed gets very, very aggravated. I
Right.
said, would you like some Superman pajamas, Mohammed? And we do theme super not heroes, so we do different things. So, like Caleb was the Hulk. So I said, would you like some Superman pajamas, Mohammed? And he loses it. So I do my usual protocol, and I throw them to the ground, hands behind the back, get their handcuffs on, and I say, calm down. And they calm down.
But surely, no disrespect to you, being, well, you've retired now, but say latterly, surely an 18, 19-year-old, 6 foot, 15 stone guy,
Yeah.
surely he could get the better of yourself. I don't know, or is there a technique into handling these lads? You can see the signs and you know what to do and what to grab for and everything else.
Well, there's a bit about it where they've got it in mind, even though they are crazy and they probably have assaulted someone. I'm their gran, and they'll think, I can't hurt her that much.
No.
I am only, I am 65, but they don't always attack me like that, and I've got legs beside me.
Just one question before you go.
Yep.
Have you ever had any sort of relationships with the kids when they've got out of prison, or is that just purely, no, sorry, you're out of there, end off, game
I'm their
over?
gran while they're in there, and then when they're out, I don't know who they are.
And no one's come to a house ever to knock on your door and say, hi, do you remember me? No, it's not happened.
Wouldn't answer.
Because, of course, they don't know your address anyway, and you wouldn't be allowed to give
Well,
it.
I hope not.
For those that want their address, it's number 20. No, I'm only joking. We won't do that.
Funny.
Anyway, thanks very much for joining us on the show today. It's been absolutely amazing. Well, that's nearly the end of the show, as I said. We'll be hearing from Gran, I hope, very, very soon. She's going to be performing for us again very soon. And Gran, what do you say?
It was such a pleasure to be here again. Yeah, thank you.
So, anyway, what we'll do, we'll go and let Gran get up there on the old stage, watch the wires, don't trip over any cables, as she heads over to do her final performance. But before we do that, we're going to have some latest news from your area, and then a track from Gran.
9 alleged members of Sydney's notorious Brothers for Life gang have been arrested in a move police say has disrupted a major drug ring. The 9 men, aged between 10 and 18, were arrested yesterday morning during a series of raids across Sydney's southwest. Dozens of specialist officers raided 9 properties in Yaguna, Villawood, Maryland, Bankstown, Chester Hill and Georges Hill. Police seized tear gas canisters, electronic equipment and drugs including cocaine, methamphetamine, crystal meth and cannabis. Police say the men are all associates of the Brothers for Life gang, founded whilst they were all prisoners at Sydney's Garingal Juvenile Centre. Officers allege the men were running an illegal drug ring supplying throughout Sydney southwest and say yesterday's arrests have seriously disrupted the operation. One man, aged 18, has been remanded in custody and will face court tomorrow. He has been charged with 4 counts of drug supply and participating in a criminal group. 2 other men, aged 16 and 17, were refused bail to appear in court in February. The rest will face court on different days early next year on various drug and gang-related charges. We go to Beth, Hoof, who is outside Sydney's Juvenile Centre.
Yes, hello. I am currently stood outside the Sydney Juvenile Centre. Behind me, as you can see, the centre where Ruth Sims herself worked. This was a very special place for her, as she worked here for over 20 years. I have spoken to a handful of people at the Juvenile Centre, and they have had nothing but good words to say about her. Things became too much for Ruth when one of the inmates, Caleb Young, took his own life in a moment of depression. Ruth, who was particularly close to Caleb, was sent into her own depression and after struggling to come to terms with the suicide of the 15-year-old, decided to retire. The warden of the Juvenile Centre spoke to me earlier of all the good work that Ruth had done in her time and how sorely she will be missed by staff and inmates alike. One inmate named Marlon said that no one really took to him when he was in the centre, but Ruth was there, so he supposes that he's going to miss her a little bit. I'm Beth Hoof reporting from Sydney.
Thank you, Beth. In other news, heatwave expected to hit 1/3 of Australia over Christmas. About 1/3 of the country is expected to be hit by a heatwave over Christmas, with temperatures likely to reach 40 degrees or more. The Bureau of Meteorology says Western Australia has been experiencing a heatwave, and now hot air is starting to be dragged east and southeasterly across the country. From Friday, temperatures are likely to be over 40 degrees in parts of South Australia and Western Victoria, before the warm weather moves into New South Wales, Queensland and the Northern Territory, so get them sunnies out and have a barbie on the beach.
Phew, sounds like a scorcher. Thanks for that, Eva. Well, guys, it's time for me to say goodbye with a cracking show-stopping performance from the wonderful Ruth Ellis. We'll have Kelly and Quinn talking about their band's up-and-coming tour, but playing us out it's Ruth quickly with Gran moving on up. See you next time round.
This was a request that came in from Nadine from admin, so this is going out to you, Nadine. You've done me wrong, your time is up. You took a sip, just a sip from the devil's cup. You broke my heart, there's no way back.
Thanks for joining us, and of course we wish you all the very, very best in her up-and-coming endeavours in her retirement. Once again, if you want to see repeat performances, you can catch it on UK Gold. There's a documentary on her coming up every Sunday night at 9 till 10. So for myself, Graham Ulstrom, and everybody here at Time Tunnel, we bid you a fond farewell. Look after yourselves, and if you're going to Australia, don't forget your suntan cream. See you later. See you later.